So some messages I would like to convey for today are the following. So first one is centralized models should be used whenever possible. So blockchain is great, but centralized models are simpler when they can be applied. And therefore, my recommendation is, go for the simplest approach when possible, and do not use blockchain for whatever you would like to use. So decentralized models bring a lot of value. They bring much more than a centralized model, and this is the message I would like to share through the story of this project I did last year. And also something we have seen through the journey of that project is that a decentralized model is enabling to build a full ecosystem. So when we first started this project, thinking of how we could optimize paying public parking, we realized after a while, so because I was in blockchain stuff, I thought immediately of using blockchain. And then looking at this in more detail, we realized that this was a great idea to enable the full ecosystem. And so a decentralized model is really great for that. And that's the big advantage upon a centralized system. Another thing is that we did some IoT integration in that project, and this is tremendously powerful. Having devices around which are sensors, which are sending information is really powerful. Can be powerful for a centralized system, but if you multiply this with the power of a decentralized system feeding a full ecosystem, it's tremendously powerful. A small disclaimer. So as introduced by Darrell, I'm working for Avaloq, which is a software company providing private banking, core private banking and wealth management systems. So this presentation has nothing to do with what I'm doing for my day job. Even though we are building in that company ideas around ecosystems that are a bit similar to what I did in that project. So before starting, just a small question, how much pollution is parking creating? So when you are, driving in the city looking for a parking place somewhere, how much do you think this is creating as pollution?
Too much.
Sorry?
Too much.
Sorry.
Too much.
Too much, oh sure, yeah. Far too much, but the average is that it's creating something like, in a city, something like 30% of the overall pollution created by driving in a city. So it's a huge problem, and optimizing this would really bring value in many ways, not only for us as consumers, but also for the environment. So the whole idea started around should I say a beer. I struggled finding a parking place one day, meeting friends, it was in Munich, and I was, of course, I had no coins to pay. When I eventually found a parking place, I had no coins to pay, so I had to enter in a shop, make some change, and so you know that story very well. And I thought that really, with all the things we have been doing in the 20th century, it's kind of unbelievable that we are still doing these things with coins, with machines, really cumbersome. And also, no cash for a ticket, covered already. Also something which is very annoying is when you are back, you may not notice that the time is over. Even if here we have a bit more advanced things with on the smartphone, it's still very cumbersome. You can't expand this at your will, so it's really really primitive. Another topic also which is really difficult to tackle is how do you find a free parking place, and then when you have parked your car, after turning around many minutes or a quarter of an hour or more, you can't remember where your car is parked. So this is also another problem. So what in this project, what we were trying to tackle was those things, parking the car, so kind of predicting free parking. Automated park disk in Germany, you have to have a park disk showing when you arrived. So this is enforcing that you are not staying longer than a period of time, 2 hours on a regular basis. Automated parking ticket, the device which we designed, which was sitting in the car, is supposed to automate the parking ticket. So you have a display which shows the parking ticket to the parking warrant. On the law enforcement side, the parking warrant knows when the car has been parked. You know it as well, but they can then enforce the law much better. You potentially could extend the parking time, and even at the end of the parking time, you can find your car in an easy way because you know where it has been parked. So this was kind of the beginning, thinking of, okay, we can, with this kind of system, we can connect the driver, the car, the parking place together with the city. And we thought that the platform of choice would be the blockchain in order to secure the customers. This was the beginning of that idea, securing the customers, creating accounts that would not belong to a company, but more to the councils in a decentralized way. The councils would operate the platform, operate the nodes of the platform, making this safer for the customers. So the benefits of this would be to support the goals for the cities, so everything regarding air quality, noise pollution as well, because we are not only polluting with the air, but also we are making a lot of noise when we are turning in circles to park. This is also about reduction of the traffic, because less people looking for a place means less traffic as well. Many other advantages. We are running a bit out of time, so I'm not going to go through all those details. So for the commercial parking providers, this system could also be used, like the private parkings, which is like in the previous example, optimizing the way the billing is done, giving more transparency, giving a better predictability for the revenues. Of course, this kind of system is helping the drivers because they can find a place more quickly. They can plan this in advance in their journey, so kind of predicting where they would like to park and find a place depending on their target. Understand also the parking constraints, because when you park, sometimes you don't know that the parking place is restricted to 30 minutes, for example, or that this parking place is temporarily not available. So this kind of system could be updated in real time by the council, making this information available as you park. And overall, avoiding fines possibly. In a city like Munich, the ticket warrants are not bringing in fines what they cost in wages. So this is not a profit it's a deficit for the council. So thinking of all this, we realized that in fact the benefit of having a blockchain in the middle of this system was much more than connecting a car, a driver, and a council, because we could bring many other partners around the table. For example, a retailer could potentially pay your parking place like in a shopping mall. In a shopping mall, parking is most of the time free. Shops in the city may not be able to compete with this, but with such a system, you could potentially show the QR code of for the cost of your parking and have the shop paying this for you. The city, of course, is benefiting from such a system because they will automate. This is fully electronic. You don't need to maintain the parking automate. You don't maybe need as many parking warrants. So you can also automate fines through such a system. Enforcement is also in this system, as we have seen, because they have a better mapping of what's going on, who is parked for how long. Another thing we've seen is that we can have affiliate programs who are then contributing to this platform, because it's a distributed platform among different companies. So it could be open to also affiliates and sponsoring parking, for example, or things like this. So the message there is really that if you build such a project, as we did initially, more from a technological approach, looking at blockchain as a technology, but not looking at blockchain for the advantages it's bringing, you may realize, digging into this, that blockchain is in fact giving you a much deeper advantage, because you can do much more in decentralizing this information through different parties. A few words on the technology stack. So this was based on Ethereum. We had intermediate servers which were supporting application on Android and iPhone, and we had on each we had a device, an IoT device, which was embedded in the cars to locate the car, to know with the GPS, with also a connection through a 3G connection encrypted to the server, so we could locate the car, detect whether it was moving or not, and then predict when someone is leaving, when he leaves, because then we know that the car is parked, we know that it's moving, so we know that this place is going to be free. Or we can also, we were also able to detect, to know that someone was, we were pairing phones and cars, so it means when you see that the owner of a car is going by, his car is going to leave, so this place is going to be available in a few minutes. Things like this you can do with this IoT device plus the smartphone plus localization, and all of this being stored in a decentralized way. To go a bit further into the details, so so we had the distributed ledger on Ethereum was about to store the money, so each user was having an account. Parking place were also accounts where the money was the PARKCOIN was delivered, and the cities were owning those parking place. You have the prototype of the two versions of the prototype of the IoT device, which was featuring an accelerometer, a 3G connection, a GPS, plus an Arduino. And on the back, which is not displayed here, a screen to display the parking ticket. So this was completely kind of the device had little intelligence, was just a sensor of the move, the position, and was receiving the parking ticket encrypted with AES encryption from the server. So, yeah, I'm done.
Thanks for